Welcome to Upper Valley Access, your monthly video magazine. This month I sat down with Pete Torog from Hypertherm, who volunteered during Hurricane Irene and really talked about the importance and the vitality of community preparedness. So really looking forward to sharing his words with you. Earlier this month I went to the Sisters in Crime Murder by the Minute workshop at the Norwich bookstore. Sisters in Crime is a really neat organization that supports women crime writers and mystery writers because when the organization started, nearly 40% of all mystery writers were women, but they only received about 15% of reviews.
When Sisters in Crime began in 1986, some of the leading ladies who started off were Sarah Paretsky and Laura Lipman, people who are huge voices in crime today. But women's crime fiction was not getting reviewed. I mean, there were 40% of the writers were women, and they were getting 15% of the reviews. Now, Margot was doing the numbers the other day and said that she thinks that more than half, isn't that what you said? More than half of today's mystery writers are women?
Yeah.
But we certainly don't get more than half the reviews.
I'm a new author. I have a new series called The Ladies Smith and Weston, and it's set in Southwest Florida, and it's an odd couple sleuth team.
G.H. Hamill is one of the few authors Dorothy had seen in person whose book jacket photo exactly matched her actual appearance. Certainly no one could ever miss her in a crowd, even in New York. "Hello, darling," Georgiana said to Summer. "Aren't you a looker? Dashiell has told me so much about you."
Today I read from a work in progress that right now I'm calling But Nobody Died. It's the fourth book in my Bree McGowan series.
You'd think I'd learn. When I got out of this, if I got out of this, he and I were going to have a little discussion. My name is Bree McGowan. I'm 31 years old, unattached, and stunning in every way. Or not. It depends on who you ask.
Each had 5 minutes to speak, so I practiced to make sure it would be under 5 minutes, and those 5 minutes for the person who's speaking go very, very quickly. So we had about 13 of us here today, so I think I was number 13, yeah.
The camaraderie, having other authors around to talk to who understand the process and the pitfalls, and it's just a really supportive group of men and women.
I think people don't realize sometimes that being a writer is sort of a lonely existence, and it sounds like a lot of fun, and I suppose it is most of the time. But you have your very, it's a little bit isolating. You know, you're kind of in your head with your characters and tearing your hair out at the computer, and it's nice to have fellow writers to share stories with, for help.
Because so often people are writing and they're nervous about, will people like what I've written? Will it work?
Yeah.
And I think every single person who read today must have known from the audience reactions that what they're writing is good, that it works, that they should keep on going. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is write to that last page. Look at the Sisters in Crime website, it's easy to find, and join if you are in the mood. And if you're writing, by all means, get in touch, because you'll have fun with us too.
You never really know where and when this can happen. I mean, it can happen anywhere at any time without any notice. I mean, sometimes you'll get notice that here comes a hurricane, but in this instance, there was just a really, really strong local rainstorm that just dumped on one area, and next thing you need to mobilize some help in a hurry. So that's just one thing that you never know when the opportunities are gonna come, and you just need to be ready. We were notified through a community service time email where it was, I forget the headline, probably said something like there's an immediate opportunity, an immediate need for folks to serve at Slayton Hill where they've had some serious flooding and washout damage. And if you're interested and if you can make it, we'd love to have you. And it was kind of neat because it was such a spur of the moment thing, and it was neat to see our company encourage, if you can, drop what you have and help out in the community. It was amazing how much mud were in some of these apartment buildings. The mud basically went down the hill, came in the back door and out the front door, and the whole first floor in a lot of these buildings was just covered with, up to 1 to 2 feet of just solid packed in mud. I spent a lot of my time shoveling mud so people could remove belongings from the upstairs. So I remember spending at least an hour just on a little 3 foot by 3 foot section just to try to shovel this densely packed mud out from the bottom of the stairwell so people could kind of safely get their belongings out. And then I helped pitch in wherever I could, moving belongings and bringing them into pickup trucks, and friends and family were helping their loved ones move their belongings out so they could spend the night somewhere else, I presume. It's kind of easy to put yourself in that situation. Like, these people didn't expect this instant rainstorm, and next thing they knew, you have a river of mud flowing through your living room. I mean, it could happen to any one of us, so it felt good. It didn't feel heroic or anything. It just sort of felt like, hey, I bet you these people would do the same thing for me. If we were to get trained for something like this, I think it would have gone a lot better. Any training to know what to expect, to know what you're going to see when you get there, to know who's in charge, to know how you can help. All those kinds of things would be really good, really good to know. We all see things on the news that are happening thousands of miles away. Well, I can't really be there. I have to go home for dinner tonight, but locally, I can serve, one town over, no problem, at the drop of a hat. So to just have that mentality, I think that that serve local mentality, it's kind of what I think we're trying to do here. Kind of that feeling we're trying to instill, like, yeah, help out your neighbor. Your neighbor may be the next person that needs you, and so be ready.
I'm thrilled to have all of you here today, surrounded by people I care so much about. Thank you very much. What a great, and the weather has cooperated, which who knew? I thought we might be in snow. So it's very exciting. I'm Allison Clarkson, and I am running for the Vermont Senate. To run to continue to serve our wonderful state in a different capacity, because I believe that at its best, government expresses our care and concern for each other and undertakes the projects that need to be common endeavors. We care for each other in roads and bridges, in educating our young, developing a strong workforce, feeding the hungry, raising our standard of living, and in investing in innovation. All things enable our public good and our common good. As you hopefully know, I have loved representing the people of Plymouth, Reading, and Woodstock, and am excited to take my 12 years of experience and service in the House into another body, into the Senate. I hope to use my experience in the House to serve all of Windsor County in the Senate on supporting economic development, promoting affordability, protecting our environmental and working landscapes, and strengthening our social fabric of our communities. Of course, a key challenge is to grow our economy while continuing to protect and preserve our natural environment. Our recent problems with the Bennington area's water supply remind us of the need to protect and preserve our public trusts. Not only our water, but our air, our forests, our natural resources. As a former board member of the Vermont Natural Resources Council and of Sustainable Woodstock, Sally Miller's here somewhere, I have worked hard to protect Vermont's natural and human resources. In the House, I have championed strengthening Vermont's most important conservation program, current use. Current use's tax treatment is essential to our working landscape, to keeping our farms and growing our specialty food industries, our forests, and all the products that come from them. Charlie Shackleton and Miranda Thomas are here. All the products that come from our woods, furniture, firewood, housing materials. Current use enables an over $4 billion economic impact on our Vermont economy. Economic and environmental health do not have to be at odds with each other. Another critical communal effort is the ongoing work we face in supporting our social fabric. We need to increase access to and reduce the cost of healthcare for all Vermonters, improve our social well-being and safety, both public and domestic. We all know we need to bend the curve on opiate and heroin addiction and the crime that accompanies it here in Vermont. We know this problem well here in Windsor County. No community, as we know, is immune to this. And as my friend TJ Donovan, who's also here somewhere all the way from Burlington, and as TJ Donovan is fond of saying, the best form of public safety is a good paying job. I could not agree more fully, especially equally paid jobs for equal work. There are still lots of pressing questions, as we all know, but there aren't often easy answers. The answers are often complex and interrelated and require thoughtful and clever solutions. I will bring my values, my experience, my capacity for hard work, and my heart to tackling our common challenges and opportunities in Windsor County and in Vermont. I throw my proverbial hat into the ring. In the past, I've campaigned by visiting every home in my district, 1,887 last time, just in case you don't think I count. And enabled by many of the people here, different driver every night. And I can't promise to do that countywide. With 969 square miles of it, Windsor County is Vermont's largest county. However, I do look forward to visiting every town and listening to the concerns and ideas of the people from across Windsor County. I promise to campaign energetically and to take the same energy and optimism into the Vermont Senate. Woo. Thank you for joining me today. And one of the other chief excitements is that now I can represent more friends.
Harvest Hill Farm sits near Payne Turnpike, which crosses exit 7 off of I-89 in Berlin, Vermont. Kelly Burke grew up here and pastured cattle and hayed fields that now sit beneath a mall and car dealerships. Kelly goes to the barn every morning at 6 a.m. with his dad to milk their 25 dairy cows. He agreed to have a conversation with me about Act 64, the Clean Water Act, which mandates that Vermont farms, big and small, abide by new required agricultural practices. Later, you'll hear a song he wrote and recorded called Rap 64. It's pretty clever. I was curious about his perspective and how this act affects his ranch. He had a lot to say, and we talked about much more than just clean water mandates. Here is Kelly.
The biggest reason I went into farming really is I didn't like working every day with somebody looking over my shoulder at my every move. I guess I like to work at my own pace. I know what I got to do, and at the end of the day or at the end of the season, the work's done. How I accomplish that when I'm farming, it's up to me. But if I'm working for somebody else, it's up to somebody else. Act 64 is it's going to be very curtailing to anybody that really wants to get up in the morning and try to extract any resource. And I don't care what resource you're talking, even if it's as simple as feeding your family, as my folks started out doing here all them years ago. A family of 4 that wanted to truly live a sustainable lifestyle and really squeeze, say, 80% of what they really consume in food, which I'm pretty sure my parents used to accomplish that. You would have to be a certified small farm now. That means the state of Vermont gets to come in and tell you in effect whether or not you can feed your family on a given day and how you're going to do it. And now they want to have their foot on every drop of water too. They say they own it. They say we don't own it. I got a deed that says I do. They're saying no, it's everybody's water. And I'm saying, well, if it ain't mine, I wish it'd leave.
So how does it make you feel though? Like what?
I feel violated. I feel violated. I feel like my constitutional rights have been stripped away from me. I don't think they have the real right to do what they're doing. And there's not a lot of scientific data that explicitly points a finger at the farmers. They were an easy target. You look at a herd of cows and a big manure spreader going down the road, and that's gotta be it. You can see it, okay? But there's a lot of other things in there, and the biggest thing is you go up and down any one of these suburban streets and you'll see storm drains. And they all lead from all these suburban lawns, and they'll go for miles. Well, they all land up down from here, they all land up in the Winooski. So every one of these beautiful, pristine lawns you see that are well fertilized, they're part of the problem. It ain't all the problem, but they're part of the problem. Every farmer is as diverse as Vermont's landscape. This is my opinion, and I know there are some that share it, and I know that there are some that do not. And I'm no saint, you know, and yep, cows poop. They've been doing it for generations now. And grass still needs the manure to grow. That's all the science I got. But when I'm looking down at a piece of ground I just acquired and I'm seeing moss growing, I don't need to pay $35 for a soil sample to tell me it needs nutrients. And they're saying you do. And I don't have that kind of cash. I make a ton of milk every pickup. Those kind of resources are not, I'd rather buy some paint for my old house or something. I like to do things above boards. I like to know what I'm doing is right and good. And with these new regulations, beyond my ability to do right and good, and I don't hardly ever remember anybody ever complaining about our syrup. For years we've made quality milk. As I say, the water right in that well's tested every 3 years. There's the poop pile, it's 120 feet away. With the new rules, I'm supposed to be 200 feet from the nearest boundary. Well, the nearest boundary is on the other side of that elm tree right there. It was 100 feet, just barely, when we got licensed in '83. Now they want 200 feet, and I don't have another 100 feet to go. I'm backed in a corner. Vermont goes boom, 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 and at the bottom of every one of them booms, there's a wet spot. And I cannot stop using that land because it's wet sometimes of the year. I just cannot. I don't know if that's really the deal. I guess I'm done because I can't do something on a daily basis that I know just wrong.
Why is it wrong? Why do you feel it's wrong?
It's a terrible waste of our resources. And there's not a lot of them left around here. And they're driving us off them fast. I think we've got an establishment that is uncomfortable with a certain portion of their population being dependent without them. They don't like that. They don't seem to like that at all. They want to seem to have everybody like a little bird in the nest with their mouth open going, feed me, feed me, feed me.
You don't like that?
I don't really want to live that way. I was good before. I was happy. I may not have this and that and 100 other things, but doggone it, I was happy. Just leave me alone. That's all I wanted to do. I weren't whining because I didn't have a Beamer and this and that. Just get up every day, tend to my cows, raise some food, make some maple syrup, make enough money to pay the taxes and be on my way. For me, I hope the state of Vermont gets enough conviction to allow small operators to exist, because I think that's a very pivotal and focal point of Vermont. It's the part of Vermont that's worth having. It's not about factories, this and that. It's not about them ski areas. It's about folks right here in the dirt trying to squeeze something out of it. I-89 severed the spine of these mountains we all love. Milk Can Sam had to find a new plan for his stable up above. 18 wheels sealed the deal as the milk train's flame burned out. And now we're in a new day of, it's my turn to shove over for, I weren't quite done yet.
It doesn't sound like you are.
I'm a ways away from that magical so-called Social Security. I got the idea last summer wrapping these marshmallow bales we make. It makes this whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And as I'm sitting here in between tractor strokes, I'm hearing these cars go up and down Payne Turnpike, and they're going boom, 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 boom. I'm hearing these bass lines going, pounding down the road, and all the subwoofers and the various suburban rigs. And I'm listening to my rapper, and it's like boom, 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 I go, ah, Rap 64.
Since my conversation with Kelly, Act 64 has been delayed. I haven't yet had a chance to follow up with Kelly to hear his reactions, but I can't imagine he's disappointed by this news.
Take it from me when they give it to you. Tell me what you're gonna have when I've nothing left to lose. It's something brewing, just what they doing. They're out to bust us or socially ingest us. The renewable dream's got them beefing up the tax. And our Liberty Bell has been more than just cracked. It's an ethnic redneck cleansing, son. You'll never learn to hunt because you'll never own a gun. They're just dumbing you down as you make your way to school. Another oxymoron, a government mule. Come here, ha. Black and whites turn left and right. They gotta learn to pull together. Stand in tight. Now back G. There's something brewing, just what they doing. They're out to bust us or socially ingest us.
So April's been a really busy month, but looking forward to May. There's also many cool events going on in the Upper Valley.
Yeah, so CCS, the Center for Cartoon Studies, is celebrating 10 years. They are 10 years old, and they are having a block party, which is free and open to the public, right in historic downtown White River Junction. And what else is going on, Emily?
And then Main Street Museum is also hosting a fashion show on May 7th. So that's a busy day in May. And proceeds will go to the Main Street Museum, which if you've never been, it's a very quirky, really neat base.
Okay, well, that's the end of this edition of Upper Valley Access. We hope you enjoy it, and come on down, visit us. We are here Monday through Friday in the Tip Top Media Building. Have a terrific rest of your April.
I like the top deck when it's empty, when there's only outside and me. In every road a moment of possibility. The movement can be most diverting, and every corner's disconcerting.